Okay, discussion information items, COVID-19.
Well, that brings us right into COVID-19. So
Doesn't it?
Mary Ann's got both charts up. Obviously, the numbers are improving. We're at 8.1% right now for suburban Cook County. That was as of last Friday. Remember, this gets updated every Friday with the 5 matrix from the IDPH for suburban Cook County. Then I provide the local data just to provide an additional data point for us to look at. Last week, our local positivity rate dropped below 8%, so that's positive. That's a step in the right direction. So we are in our 4th week of 50%. I think things are going really well. We're doing, the administration is doing a lot of classroom walkthroughs, and again, just to compliment the teachers, I think a lot of teachers have taken the additional tech purchases we made at the during second quarter to flip the classroom and to provide more of a student-teacher interaction. I've shared with you some of the videos that Ms. Lindquist put together, as well as some from Dr. Freitas. So I want to just commend the staff for the job they're doing. Dr. Freitas, do you want to provide a brief update on your survey and your attendance data for the COVID part?
Yeah, I will do that. Good evening, board members, students, and families watching us today. So last Thursday evening, I sent the second semester 50% enrollment check-in survey, and I'll be resending it this week. You know, I've noticed for a high number of responses, you need to give people 7 to 10 days. So it's only been a few days, so I'll be resending that shortly. And at the February board meeting, I will bring a complete analysis of the survey. However, at this moment, I would like to share just some preliminary data. So far, 180 parents have responded. 100% feel that the environment is safe to learn. 91% feel that in-person learning is engaging. For the students, 50 students have responded so far. 99% feel that the environment is safe to learn, and 99% feel that in-person learning is engaging. Again, this is preliminary data. I will make sure I have a robust presentation come at the February board meeting. Since the last board meeting, we've seen small increases in attendance for in-person in-person learners on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and just a slight decrease on Thursdays and Fridays. Our overall average daily attendance is 95.52%. Teaching is going outstanding. You heard it from our very own students. Teachers are continuing excellent teaching and differentiating. They're using tools such as classroom microphones to have students that are online and in person interact with one another. They're using multiple cameras so they can present in front of the class so all the students can see them. You know, our teachers are really using the technology to move the curriculum forward, and that's been very special to see. But I'm really proud of the PD that has been established by Kylie Lindquist, Assistant Principal Curriculum and Instruction, and Bridget Wilma, English teacher and instructional technology coach. Because our PD is based, it was built on the 4 key pillars to grow academically, which is leadership roles, teaming, collegial inquiry, and mentoring. At our PD sessions, we've had student teachers learn from our practice. We've had teacher leaders present. We've had teachers collegially inquire and ask questions about the purpose of programs and how it could benefit them. We're using digital tools such as Kami, Padlet, and Edpuzzle to move forward the learning. And what's really nice about these digital tools, students will see these tools in college. Students will use these tools to learn and engage one another. So we are really adding value to our student experience at this moment. And I'm really proud of all of our teachers, all of our instructional coaches, and I'm really proud of every administrator that I work with here at RB. And lastly, I want to thank our district, our superintendent, Dr. Skinkis, and Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Smetana, for always providing me and my building current information on COVID-19 vaccinations. The district has done a great job in keeping us informed, and I'm glad that I work with them. That is my principal report.
Thank you, Hector. So that brings me up to the next updated point I wanted to touch on during the COVID-19 transition. This week started the official first week for people in Group 1B. All school staff are in Group 1B, along with any citizens over the age of 65. And so what's going on now is we're working closely with the county. Any kind of county updates that we get, there's the vaccination site in North Riverside. We pass that out to staff. I sent an email to staff on Friday encouraging them that if they can receive the vaccination through their primary health care provider or through CVS appointment, a Myers appointment, Mariano's, all the different pharmacy places that are currently offering them, that they should pursue those options. We are still working with Cook County Department of Public Health and trying to get West 40 is trying to coordinate something for mid to late February where schools can serve as vaccination sites. And so I encourage the staff that if they can get their vaccine sooner, by all means to do that. So where we need to, Mary Ann, if you could flip to the next slide where the plan is on. Thank you. And so what's important for the board, remember, and you have this in your on-board book as well. So our goal for the month of February is to get all the staff vaccinated. And when I say all the staff, that's not just teachers, but teachers' aides, security, support staff, custodians, food service workers, anybody that's in the school. So the goal is to try to get everybody vaccinated by February. Based on everything that I've heard from the health departments, that may be a stretch, but I think that's the goal we're setting right now, is to try to use the month of February to get everybody vaccinated. Please remember, it takes anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks to get everybody vaccinated, because there's either a 3 or 4 week gap between your first shot and your second shot, depending on which vaccine you get. So there's 21 days for the Pfizer, 28 days for the Moderna before you can get your second shot, and then they're recommending to watch for a week after the shot before you're fully vaccinated. So the goal would be that we would try to get through this third quarter plan, the 50% plan, and have everybody vaccinated by the end of February, and hopefully we can start discussing in March what the fourth quarter would look like. So when we return from spring break, we could see. I don't know if we'll it's important that we look at the first green box. That would be our next phase. I don't know if we'll get to that phase this year, but we talks about Illinois being back to phase 5. And I think there's a certain percentage of the population that have to be vaccinated before we can move back to phase 5. But what I'm also hoping for is, you see the second line in that first box is a revised ISBE IDPH guidance, right? Because even though teachers will be vaccinated hopefully by the end of February, we still have to practice social distancing and all the different things that we have put in place, the mitigating factors, in order to make this safe under the transition plan and what was recommended by the IDPH. But knocking on wood, these first 4 weeks have gone really well, and I think the students that are attending have done a great job. Our staff's done a great job. So things are moving in the right direction. So February, we're focusing on vaccination, as well as low-risk sports have started up. They started practicing last week. The IHSA Board of Directors meets tomorrow, and we're hoping to get clarification on the actual winter season, as if they're extending, moving, changing, what expectations they'll have for the winter season, as well as the medium and high-risk sports. There's supposed to be some more information coming out there. So we'll have also some information on contact days. Yesterday was the first day we were going to start contact days. We held off. Obviously, today we were all remote because of the snow. So we should hopefully start contact days by the end of this week, if not the first of next week. But I know we have some coaches asking, and so we're addressing that as well. We'll also get clarification, depending on where the sports seasons line up, if athletes will be allowed to play 2 sports, or how that will work, if that's going to be an individual school's plan on allowing athletes to compete in 2 sports, if there's some overlap between 2 of the modified seasons. So all that will hopefully start being cleared up in the next couple of days between the IHSA Board of Directors, and then through our conferences and through the local ADs Association. But things are moving in the right direction. We've come a long way since from where we were in October, November, and so it provides a little more energy to be able to speak to some of these things. So I don't have any additional updates on the COVID-19 transition. I'll open it to the board for questions.
Question?
Can I just ask, are you finding, do staff have to get vaccinated? Like, what if staff say they'd rather not?
Right now, there is not a mandatory vaccination coming down from the state. The discussions that I've had, legal counsel is more or less, Staff has the opportunity to get vaccinated. They should get vaccinated, but if they choose not to get vaccinated, they can't use that as a reason of why they wouldn't be able to be in the classroom. Does that make sense? Unless they had proper documentation that says, my medical condition does not allow me to be vaccinated, I'm still high risk. We haven't had that concern either. I mean, if people are choosing to not get vaccinated, the way the attorney explained it was if someone chooses not to get vaccinated, they can't use that they don't feel safe being at work. Does that make an example?
So if they don't get vaccinated, but
If
they're
they choose
exposed.
not to, if they choose not to
If
get
they
vaccinated.
choose not to, but let's say they're exposed to someone who has it, now they have to stay home for 10 days.
Are you, and so
Something like
would they
that.
be charged as, we have some things I wouldn't think we would go outside of the current MOUs we have in place in regards to sick days and some
I'm
of
just
those
wondering.
things.
Just curious.
Yeah.
So, Agra,
Thank you.
how many kids are coming on like a Tuesday to Thursday, and how many kids are coming Wednesday and Friday?
So
The number of kids.
we're averaging about 220 students. Maybe on one day 230, another day 215.
Okay,
Yep.
so you're averaging 220. We have room for how many? 800?
800 according to our plan, Wes, yes.
So could we look at going into, and I know it's complicated, could we look at seeing if the Tuesday, if someone wants to come 4 days a week, we might have space for them?
That could be. Currently, we do have some students that come more than 2 days a week, because they have a unique circumstance, and they
Right.
need additional support. But, that's our plan.
Middle-of-the-road kid, the middle-of-the-road kid coming 2 days a week, we might have room for him to come 4 days a week if he chose. But
So
if
we
if
had.
a Wednesday, Friday wants to come Tuesday, Thursday, by the numbers, we might have room.
Right, so the one thing that we had talked about as administration, we've already started a plan, as I mentioned, about that green box or that fourth quarter. If we're not in Restore Illinois Phase 5, what can we do in order to increase opportunities for the kids that want to attend in person? And so we've started to talk about that as an administrative team. There's the logistical things that go into it that the board may not recognize would be like, okay, if you're taking those 220 or 230 and now you're going to have 460 come to school those 4 days, we still have to then go through each of those 460's individual schedules to make sure that they're not going over the threshold we set, so that social distance, right? We still have to be able to implement those mitigating factors. So we're looking at a couple things. We're looking at that. We're looking at the possibility of, fourth quarter, do you go a 3-2 option where you go give kids the option to come 3 days a week, and then the next week they would come 2 days. So there are a few things we're looking, but it would most likely occur towards the end, in first week of March, second week of March, towards spring break time. So we can, the only thing I'm concerned about the increases, we have to continue to watch the attendance as weather continues. I mean, January and February are usually rough attendance months, and Mr. Manning can speak to this a little bit when he gives his presentation. They're usually rough attendance months to begin with, right? Kids don't, if it snows or it's cold, some kids will come, won't come, especially now that they have the remote option. So what we would have to watch is, so the one thing that's unique about our plan that a lot of schools haven't done is we provide people the option. If you want to come, come. If you don't want to come, don't, right? And so if we're going to make a move to where we go to more of a 4 days a week for those kids that want to come, we're going to have to get a firm commitment from families. I'm staying remote for the rest of the year, or I'm coming for the rest of the year, right? I mean, your kid will still have the option if they're feeling sick to stay home that day, or if they're experiencing symptoms, but there's a lot of things we're working through. We've already started these discussions as a team, what are the logistic things that we need to be aware of, so that if we wanted to increase this fourth quarter, we could.
So, right, well, it's something to explore. Would love to talk about it in February, I think. I get it's complicated, and I don't want to, it's not we're not here to, I just think by the numbers, we could fit 2 more sets of kids in the classroom, and by the math, but I get the individual classroom. So I think if we even doubled it, if all Wednesday and Tuesdays went on Tuesdays, that's 440 kids. We still have 350 spots.
Right.
So, and I don't want to get in a situation where you can't come. because that's really the choice. We want the choice to come. But if you haven't come, and by that time it'll be 8 weeks, you're probably not coming, right?
Yeah, that's why I think if we get through, we focus February on the vaccination cycle, re-implementing in-person activities and athletics, see if there's any uptick and mitigate any kind of school cases or increases in attendance. I would think as we near early March, right before spring break, we should have a clear picture of what we can do for fourth quarter to right? Like you said, if a kid hasn't come for the first 9 weeks, are they gonna come for the last 9, right? That's a spot that could be used for someone that wants to come. I think we've already started to discuss that at length a little bit, so we're working on a couple
I hear you,
things.
Wes, I hear you, board members, we just need some time to plan and make sure everything's done right, but I hear you, okay?
We want everybody to be sure of what they want to do. We have the spots, okay.
Any questions on this? I didn't.
Well, they said no, but you got any more, I mean, that might spawn more questions, I guess, the whole conversation.
No, I support the idea. What I'm hearing is we wait through February. Some of the kids that are coming Wednesday and not Friday, they might get into more of a routine. You want to encourage, if you've made the commitment to be here and you're feeling well, then come on Friday,
Yeah,
right? Don't make it an optional day, right? The remote option is if you're not in a situation where you are comfortable coming into the school at all. So I think as you guys are talking about it internally, it'll be good to get those numbers a little more solidified in February.
We're seeing a little bit of a trend too on some preliminary discussions have been, if there's students are taking a test or any type of assessment, it's usually easier to take that assessment at home and
Yeah,
maybe
that's
not in
definitely
person.
an
So we're seeing some of that. So that's why I
We see
think
it
you're
by
seeing,
class as well. We
that's
see
why I
it by
think you're seeing kids come on Wednesday and then sometime Friday. But, maybe Michael and Lily during their talks can provide that a little bit when we get to their portion of the agenda, or if they have anything they would like to add now under the COVID discussion.
I'll just jump in, and also when you're looking at that, I'd like to see it by grade level too. I think that's probably part of the discussion.
Yeah. Well, as we get down the road, and if that becomes a viable option, then we got to talk about who's coming and not. Okay. Okay, visitor statements?
Oh, did Michael Lilly have anything on COVID?
Non-COVID.
Nope, okay.
No visitors, move right on, that's nice. Additional discussion items? No, okay. President's report, don't have one.